For the content creators out there who are much better than me at this, we have a responsibility, and we should not try to divide but to educate, because through knowledge we grow, but with ignorance we fail. As Confucius said, the beginning of wisdom is to correctly label things. Or in Aussie speak, we just say, we call a spade a spade. That also means having those difficult discussions as a community and as a nation. For example, we are responsible for the rise of ISIS and the millions killed in Iraq, which led to their rise. The hardest question for us is, how do we deal with our close relationship with the United States? Because if we continue to be their little poodle in the Pacific, we will also continue to inherit their enemies and their refugees of the countries they destabilise. Are you ready for the thousands of refugees to come to Australia in Trump's war in Venezuela? Are we ready for more refugees to come from Ukraine because of America and NATO's proxy war? Because the last thing we need coming to Australia is those that believe in the doctrine of Stefan Banderas and his Nazi ideology. So these soldiers that served in the Azov battalions that also live by that ideology. I don't think we're ready for that yet. We can't even come to terms with our colonial past and what we have done to our First Nations people. And we as Muslims, are we ready? Did we fail these two men? Could we not have led them on the right path? We have a responsibility for our community, not just the Muslim community, but in particular to prevent blood spilt on the land of our First Nations people. I fear their voices are also silenced in this discussion, because they see the struggle of the Palestinians as one that they have also struggled with and continue to suffer from. Just as Israel is a settler colonial state, so are we, except we completed our genocide. The discussion on extremist ideology for the West has always been centralised around Islam, but we also need to have that discussion about Zionism and Christian Zionism and far-right ideology. We need to talk about the Chabad Lubavitch movement, who was hosting the event at Bondi on that fateful day, and I'll have a short video on that in the coming days. This should be quite concerning for Australians, as I'm pretty sure they weren't aware that this was happening on their most iconic beach. As a former digger, I certainly do. Once again, I reiterate that the legacy media will never have these discussions because they are just as dangerous as the terrorists themselves. And then we have Christian Zionism, that's more centred around the evangelical Christians like this guy, Scotty from marketing. Yes, he's a happy clapper. In walk Dumber and Dumber. About 2 weeks ago, 1,000 evangelical pastors went to Israel for indoctrination. Their core beliefs are Old Testament prophecies, like the Abrahamic covenant that promises the land to the Jewish people eternally. The return of Jews to Israel and their control of the land is seen as necessary for the return of Jesus. This was considered heresy by the church and outlawed in the 3rd century. Yes, as Muslims, we believe Isa will return and we will stand side by side with Christians. And Christian Zionism is an epidemic in the US and has a huge hold on American politics, to the point that churches are geofenced. So when you enter the church, your phone is bombarded with Zionist propaganda and links to make donations to the Zionist lobby. Some believe that Christian Zionism was manufactured to cause a chasm between Muslims and Christians. And further on from Zionism, the father of modern-day Zionism, Theodor Herzl, was considered an atheist and not really interested in traditional Judaism and Judaic practices. So the land was promised to them, but they don't believe in God. In walks our heinous harlot, Susan Ley, who wants to deport hate preachers. Sure, go ahead, Susan. Does that mean you're going to deport the radical Zionists that support Israel's genocide and raise money for a terrorist army on our land? And while you're at it, get rid of those exclusive brethren out of our nation. My masjid back in Australia was just attacked in the last 24 hours with some heinous graffiti. But in light of that, it appears the Muslim and Jewish communities are coming together right now in Australia, despite mainstream media and social media trying to rip them apart. The Zionist regime does not want that. They want to keep us separated. So does the Liberal Party. So a message to our Muslim, Christian and Jewish communities: please stay proactive.